Be live. Hello, everyone.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome.
Let me.
Countdown.
I'm gonna. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the She Means Business Show Live. I am so blooming excited that you are here for this session. We are going to have so much fun. We are going to be diving into how you can create more visibility, how you can get yourself known, how you can create publicity for yourself. I think this is one of the biggest challenges that business owners struggle with. I see so many people who have bloody amazing ideas and then they get them out there and it's like crickets and they feel frustrated. They just want to get known. They want to have authority and credibility. They want people to discover them. So if you are nodding along with this, then you're in the right place. And I'm so excited because we're going to be chatting all about it. And we're chatting all about it with the amazing Susie Moore. Woohoo! Everyone give some love to Susie Moore in the chat.
Carrie, I'm so happy to be here. I love you. I love this topic. I love really nothing more than helping people connect the dots to really take that message, take that story, take what it is we have inside of us and give it a microphone. What are we waiting for? You know, like the media needs us, like regular stories from regular people. That I know to be true.
So I'm blooming excited. I was going to introduce you properly. I was going to say, because I wanted to, because you know what, I made a little post note of all the places that you've been featured on. So I need to share with everyone. But for everyone watching, Susie, if you don't know her already, she's just a blooming amazing human being, full stop. She's also a world-renowned life coach. She's an author of an amazing book called Let It Be Easy. And you've got another book.
Yes, I have a couple of other books. Yes, Stop Tricking Your Likes. And what if it does work out? Yes.
I don't know how on earth you had time to write 3 books. I mean, I struggled with one. She's amazing when it comes to all things media. Like Susie is incredible. So we're going to be diving into all of that. She also has an incredible podcast show also called Let It Be Easy. She has been featured, wait for this, in multiple outlets. I made a note because there's no woman way on earth I'm going to remember all this. Today Show, Good Morning America, Dr. Oz, Business Insider, Forbes, Oprah, Wall Street Journal, Cosmopolitan, and then I ran out of space in my post-it. That's all I can fit in, Susie. But she's just loving it, amazing, and I'm so excited for this conversation. And we also have some amazing members from our members club here. They submitted incredible questions. So I'm going to be bringing them on as well as we go throughout this session together, so they can ask you that question. So that'll be really fun. But I want to get started with diving into like, how did you obviously you're a business owner, you're a successful business owner, you've utilized the media for your own business, but how did you get into it? Because I think that it can feel so intimidating and something that you have to be ready for. And like how did you get into it all?
Oh, Carrie, I love this question because I frankly decided to underthink it and just go for it. One of my favorite expressions is underthink it, because I think we do the opposite, especially high achieving women. And I started my media journey, didn't even think it'd be a journey back then. I just wanted more one-on-one clients when I was side hustling as a life coach. I worked for a startup that was acquired by a Fortune 500 company working in the tech sector. And I knew that my side hustle as a life coach was going to be big one day. If I wanted it to be big, it would really be up to me. And I remember thinking, gosh, how am I going to do this? I can rely on word of mouth to a certain point and referral-based systems, etc. Facebook ads weren't really a thing back then, or they were pretty brand new. I didn't want to figure out anything too complicated. But I just knew that if I had this dream to go big, if I wanted to go all in and make my side hustle my full-time business, that there had to be a way. I'm like, if I've got this dream, there has to be a way. And one afternoon when I was, waiting for 5 p.m. so I could leave my cubicle and hit the bar, I would just constantly read these websites like Marie Claire, like Mind Body Green, like Business Insider. And I remember thinking one day in particular, what if I just submitted something? Like I noticed the content that they covered was content that I love to coach on, stuff like confidence, productivity, boundary setting, etc. And I noticed that the publications I love to follow spoke about this stuff. So one day when I was actually, early to meet a friend for some drinks, she was a bit late. On my tablet at the bar in Lower Manhattan, I just submitted 600 words to Mind Body Green. And 2 weeks later, it was published and it had nearly 4,000 shares.
Wow.
So, and like a share is a very small percentage of overall views. And as soon as I saw that was January 2014, I was like, this is how I'm going to grow my business, because I can just tell my stories, share my advice, and then the right people, like my people,
Yeah.
will find me. And that was really my first Let It Be Easy experience as a business owner. And I have not stopped ever since, Carrie. This is how much I love this method. It's free, it's powerful, it works.
It is incredible. And I love what you said. You said something like, if I want to be big, like it's on me. And I think that that's such a powerful realization, decision to make, commitment to make to yourself, to realize that it's on you. And also the fact that like, I'm going to be big, like I'm going to be big at this. Like, I always feel like when people make that decision, like full body, soul decision, that something shifts and all of a sudden this pathway opens up for you to be able to figure out how you're going to be a big deal, because everyone can be a big deal. Like
everyone is already a big deal. That's the thing. It's like, do you want to claim it? Like, do you like?
Yes, exactly. I love that. Do you want to claim it? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, Carrie, like, isn't it wonderful when we realize that, it is up to us. Sometimes that can feel daunting. To me, it feels exciting.
Yeah.
I think if it's going to be my responsibility, that's good news, because I'm in charge. That means I get to be in charge here, and I get to really define what my life and future is, are going to be like. And that's a wonderful power to possess. And I want to claim mine. No one can give it to us.
Yeah.
Right. No one can go, here's a jar of power. Enjoy. Like, good luck. It has to be claimed by us. And I think that that's a really beautiful, exciting thing. And if we want to, really make an impact, why do we all go into business, right? It's to make an impact. And I don't want to make a little impact. I want to go big in my short lifetime. Why not? Like, why wouldn't I? And this is the best method that I found for really reaching a lot of people quickly.
And like exactly what you said. I remember years and years ago discovering Mind Body Green and like loving it, and looking at all the contributors that they had on there. But it is such a powerful tool or strategy to leverage like other people's networks, because when you're starting out, you don't have your own audience, and you need to get in front of people, and you need to find those ways that are easy to get in front of people. But when I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, I set out, I was like, I want to create the biggest and the best platform for female entrepreneurs around the world.
Yes.
And I remember setting up a Google alert for keywords like female entrepreneur and female entrepreneurship, and looking at the news things that would come through. And when they would come through, I would like jump on it. I remember I literally, it was nothing. It was just a website, and literally FEA was nothing more than a website at the time. And I saw an article through the Google alert from the Telegraph in the UK. And it was a guy who basically, the title was "The number of female entrepreneurs has come to a standstill." So I looked up his email address on Google, and I sent him an email just saying, read the title of his article. And then I said, like, I read your article, I thought it was amazing. However, I disagree. I run the Female Entrepreneur Association, and the number of female entrepreneurs is not coming to a standstill. There's thousands, and so many out there. And I left my phone number, and I was like, we're really great to chat. And he called me that day, and I remember he ended up doing like a full page like spread in the Telegraph on me. He sent up a photographer to Manchester up to take pictures of me. I was like, this is crazy. I know. And now I'm in the center of Manchester, like someone's taking pictures of me, and I felt so awkward, but it was so exhilarating. And I was like, bloody hell, like
that was easy.
Yeah, literally. And then from there, I remember like getting on like radio shows, and I remember doing an event in the July, I think it was the July in 2011 when I started the Female Entrepreneur Association, and inviting the Manchester Evening News to just come along, and they sent a photographer to come down. And I was
there you go.
It's just so easy. It was nothing. It was nothing.
But you see, it took some courage, right? It took a reach out, and it took frankly, I mean, even if you had nothing set up, like a simple website, when I got started, I didn't even have a website or even a Facebook business page. I just had a Twitter account. Like I had nothing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how early stage you are. You can do this. And truly, why not? The sooner the better, right? Because you create relationships. Once you get more media, it's easy to get additional media. It snowballs in your favor. And I think that is so awesome and generous.
Yeah. And this is also something that everyone, I mean, you've obviously worked with people, but this is something that everyone can do, like all sorts of, different types of, business owners. It's not just for like a certain type, because I think often people think, yeah, but what would I put myself forward for? Like, what would the media be interested in me about? And I think because we always think we're less interesting, ourselves than other people might find us, but like, but this is for everyone, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Like, Carrie, I can say that I've never met anybody yet in years, not one person, who has an aspiration to get some media features, get some media coverage, who hasn't got potentially 200 to 300 media ideas at the ready. They just don't know it yet. We don't know how to tap into what it is that we know. Like you said, most people don't realize how interesting they are, that their story has so much value, that their journeys are so helpful to other people. And I'm going to give you some examples now that are really, really different, right? So some people may speak about, for example, a fertility journey and that experience, or learning a language and relocating, or their own business journey. Perhaps it's a health experience or a hack that they've learned, or maybe they've even had a situation where they've, I kid you not, grown heirloom tomatoes in their apartment. I mean, it's endless. The places you can appear, the content that you can share. There is a home for everything. We even have someone in our group who only focuses on ballet photo shoots. And would you believe, I mean, I don't know, I'm no ballerina, sadly, but I had no idea there is such niche media for ballet studio owners, people passionate about practicing ballet. I mean, it continues to just blow my mind every day. Of people who cook specific types of gluten-free bread for picky toddlers. I mean, the type of content that I've seen shared successfully gain media attention and coverage, it's mind-boggling. I mean, there's of course more mainstream ideas, but even the niches. I mean, whatever you think that whatever it is that you have to share, if you have something that you can say that can help someone, like one person, it can potentially help hundreds, thousands, millions of people. It's just about identifying where they are and turning the ideas you have inside of you to something crisp and sharp that the media can just easily say yes to. Okay, yes.
I love that. I want to dive into that more, but I also want to pull up the chat that we have.
Yes.
Because I want to see what people are saying. And I did not actually pull it up before we went live. So
okay.
I know. So I will somehow find Team FEA that are here with me. If you can share the link with me to the chat roll, that would be absolutely blooming amazing, because I should have got it beforehand and I didn't. I'll have to Slack that to me. That would be lovely. So okay, hopefully I will find that at some point. Obviously there are just so many benefits of media. Like for you, for example, though, after you had that first experience with Mind Body Green, what was the actual impact that it had on your business? I know that sounds like an obvious question, but
no, it's a great question. So first of all, I mean, this is a part that no one kind of tells you until it happens to you. As soon as you're published, you have what's called an author page. And this would appear in Cosmo, in Elle, like wherever your audience are and where you wish to appear. When you get that author page, you feel famous. You're like, wow. Even the word author comes from a Latin origin, the word authority. So that's how you become the authority in your space, by consistently creating content for very credible brands. Think about it. To use the Mind Body Green example, by that point, they'd already been around for, I think, 7 or 8 years. They had tens of millions in funding. I was just tapping into that audience that was already there. Like, I don't have to start from scratch, work my way up bit by bit. I can tap into existing marketplaces that are already thriving. So that very first piece really got me busy, because I thought, wow, there are all of these views. There is this hunger for this content. I need to set up all the back end stuff in my business, email capture. I had none of that ready, but you get moving once you start getting some wins. And then from there, I would leverage every piece to get more and more media. So I actually even started getting paid for content that I was creating. That's not why I did it. I certainly care more about the email list subscribers, having links to different things in my business that I'm promoting at different times. But using my method, like this media method specifically, I grew my email list to 29,000 people in 9 months.
Bloody hell.
I know. And I had like 700 on my list before from like using LinkedIn in the beginning, because that was kind of where my connections were as a corporate person, but 29,000 people, that is, I mean, I was confident, well, of course scared, but I was confident to really go in on myself at that point, to go, okay, my job, like, let's go. Knowing I've got the media on my side and that as a constant resource that's just always available to me, I can tap in, grow my list, get one-on-one customers. Plus, another thing happened, Carrie. Of course, that it's very practical, because it's great to be paid attention, right? That's fun, and it's, it optically it's great, but I care so much about the bottom line. Like, I mean, I want to, of course, like, make money, like not just get paid attention, but actually get paid. So I love all the benefits. I love the fact that whenever you actually appear in the media, everyone thinks, it can't be true because only working on your craft and your own experience can do this. But Carrie, everyone thinks that you're the best at your job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so
immediately. Yeah, like if you're going to go to a dermatologist, for example, and someone is always in the media, you're like, that person must be great. Yeah. The media can't do that for you, but in the eyes of the world, it's extremely elevating.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't we allow ourselves like that ease and tapping into
Yeah,
because other people are. So are you going to join them, or someone else potentially? I mean, people are doing it. They're out there in your field, in the media. Like, why not be one of them? Like,
so
it's
true.
available. Yeah.
And then also, like, when you start getting those features, when somebody goes and Googles you, that's just all going to come up in Google. And then all of a sudden you're going to be someone on Google and beyond just a Facebook profile popping up or something, or your own website to have that credibility of being featured. And it makes such a difference. Like, I can see that, like, when with the articles that I read, you definitely do hold those people in a different position of authority and credibility, and you look to them. And I was going to say, obviously it makes sense then that you were able to grow your email list so rapidly because of that connection association people have with you when they're reading what you're writing. I was going to say, could you give us a specific example of how you would have given a call to action for a freebie in an article you'd written?
Yes. So I'm just thinking, I would love to create content for the website Mind Body Green, right? Huge audience. So I would do this pretty consistently. I would come up with an idea that was helpful, whether it was around confidence, maybe, or productivity, or getting your time back, or how to say no, like whatever I just felt was useful, that I was even just using with my clients, like testing different ideas, working with them. Your own work is a great source of inspiration for content that the media love. And the media love too, knowing what's working in your business and what questions are people asking. I mean, actually, this is a piece that comes to mind. It was either the Washington, it was for a large news outlet. It was Washington Post or Huffington Post. I spoke about, I'm a life coach, and here are the 3 most common questions I get. So I listed the questions, and then at the end, I have what is called a shirt tail in media speak, which is essentially a 2-sentence bio, 3 sentences max, saying first name, last name. So Carrie Green is an X who helps people Y, fill in the blanks, sign up for her opt-in bribe, whatever that is for you, right here. And that could be, like, of course, your own PDF. For me, I love to link to evergreen webinars now. It could be a book. It could be your podcast if you want to grow your social, if you want to grow your listener base. I change my links out all the time based on what I'm selling and sharing. And my call to action also always changes based on my own business evolution. So I love to focus on publications that have my audience, create content that's just really relevant for me, that will attract the right people to me. So I'm not talking about dating advice, for example. That's not where I specialize. I'm not creating real estate content, right? That would be for someone in the real estate sector. But I'll create a lot of great, like, life coaching content, and then link to, right now I'm linking to an evergreen webinar that leads to my life coaching membership. So the content, it's almost like it's like the media is like, it gives you this red carpet, like this red carpet to to drive people straight to your products and services. And
Yeah.
the best part too is, like you said, we hold someone in a different regard when you find them in a media outlet. Just say there's a brand that you love. I mean, say Refinery 29, that just came to my mind, right? If you love and subscribe to Refinery 29, you follow them on social, maybe you get their newsletter, and you follow them for say 3 or 4 years. And Carrie, you pop up in Refinery 29 with your tips for something. Carrie, 7 tips for fill in the blank. To me, if that's how I discover you, to me, Carrie, you are Refinery 29.
Yeah.
Like you are that. Like that's what you represent to me, this brand that I love. And you just access and tap into that cred and authority instantly.
Yeah.
There's nothing really for you to build or put in the hard yards for. Like, this is so random, but I was listening to an interview with Olivia Wilde a little while ago, and she's that actress and the director, and now she's a director. But she said that she just joined popular shows. She's like, I joined House and I joined the OC when they were already at the top of their game. That's how she managed to really make a name for herself pretty young and pretty swiftly. So I think, why not use the tools that are available to us to allow this to be easier as we grow up?
I love it so much. And I'm going to try and see if I can find that chat link now so I can get on.
I know we love all the media questions. Truly, this is like one of my favorite things to talk about.
I love it. I love it. So I just said, very encouraging to hear your approach. Oh my goodness, you make it sound so easy. I realize I have been hiding from it. I love it.
Hiding. We can talk about that too.
Everyone joining us live, make sure you leave your comments, leave your thoughts in the chat as we go, because it's amazing seeing it. So we have some amazing panelists that are joining us live, and I would love to bring the first one of them on so we can like get into the nitty gritty of this and just really kind of talk through like your like practical thoughts on how people can utilize the media. So the first person I would love to bring on is Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing?
Hi, Sarah.
How are you?
Hi, Carrie. Hi, Susie.
Oh, I'm so happy to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to chat to you.
So do you want to share your question, a little bit about you and your question?
Yes. Okay. So I'm a nutritionist, and I've been in business for about 5 months, so quite a new sort of baby entrepreneur. And I specialise in supporting clients with ADHD. So it's niche. And I do that supporting my own family members with ADHD. And now I've been working with one-to-one clients for about 5 months. So as a result of that, I've developed this, I think, pretty amazing content based on this quite unique experience of working with clients around their diet and their IBS issues and the things that they uniquely find quite challenging. So I've got a quite small but pretty loyal following. And I'm about to launch a recipe book that I've produced based on my experience of the last 6 months, and a series of ebooks and some masterclasses. So I have this amazing content. I've no PR experience whatsoever. I've got a small following. So I'm building my skill set, but I just want your advice on how to not hear crickets.
First of all, I love the work that you do, Sarah. How cool. So you're a nutritionist and you help people with kind of different conditions, it sounds like.
So specifically attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I work exclusively with that group of clients. So ADHD is very talked about in the media.
Yes.
But even though some of the most common questions that people who have ADHD ask are around food and diet, that is not talked about really at all.
I was thinking that, as you said, ADHD, how it is a niche for you, but it's increasingly not so niche, right? This is a very mainstream conversation. You see so much out there, so much more being shared about ADHD. And I love that you're coming from it at a specific angle with nutrition. I mean, I haven't seen this before, and I think you have this is a big opportunity for you. I mean, when you say that you've worked with people in your own family, is that right? So that, yes.
Yeah. So as I was completing my studies, my plan was to work in menopause nutrition. But at the same time I was graduating, my husband and son were diagnosed with ADHD. And that helped us a penny drop about why they had been so different from my daughter and I around food, diet. I started supporting them and saw huge changes, really.
Okay, I have lots of ideas, Sarah, already. Like, this is so exciting. Okay, so first of all, that's a very interesting personal story. Do you feel confident like sharing your personal story about your family, about your own experience, how you're a nutritionist and this is something that you realized with your own like husband and son?
Yeah, and I had their permission to share as well, that story.
When you say like mission to share, I also just want to highlight this for everybody because it's so valuable. When you think about it, Sarah, like what you're doing with this work, it's very generous, right? Showing up, telling people your lives can be better, they can be simpler, they can be more straightforward. Like when someone works with you, the before and after, that after image is really what gives a lot of inspiration and hope to people who are scratching their heads with this. They don't even know what to look for, probably in a lot of cases. So you've got your own personal experience, you're a nutritionist. What are some, like, what comes to mind for me first as some really easy media wins would be, what don't we know? So I can imagine a headline like this. I'm a nutritionist for people with attention hyperactive, ADHD, however you state it, and then say, these are the top 3 things that can allow you to support someone to support someone with this condition. So what are they? Like, do mums need this? Is it, do you help parents mainly? Is it wives? Is it partners? Is it people themselves with ADHD? Like, is there a type of person who you tend to help specifically?
Yeah, very much so. And what I found over the last 6 months is that it's not until I start to speak about it that people tend to connect some of the issues they have around food with their ADHD. So ADHD produces lots of, not for everybody, but for some people, the executive functioning challenges means that actually accessing, being able to prepare healthy meals is more challenging than it may be for somebody who doesn't have ADHD as a result of increased cravings around trying to increase dopamine. That those dietary patterns can have. So it's actually really fascinating.
I think this is fascinating. Do you tend to work more with women, men, or is it very
women? There's lots of late diagnoses coming through now. So if you like, my husband was 50 when he was diagnosed. Back of a history of sort of overeating, eating lots of carbs, drinking lots of alcohol, lots of addictive behavior. It's actually quite complex. Sometimes ADHD. So lots of my clients will feel quite a lot of shame around food, and other clients will love cooking and love making delicious meals. But for, I'd say, the majority of people, it's a difficult topic. It's a difficult area. And so what I've produced is so much content to overcome that and support that and remove that shame and understand those challenges and why those challenges are there.
So do you help people kind of identify this within them, or you work with people who are people going, gosh, maybe I have ADHD and these are some signs, or is it I have this and this is an area where I struggle?
Yeah, I mean, nutrition has nothing to do with causing ADHD, obviously. Right. What happens is when you have ADHD, it can really affect diet and appetite.
Yes.
And then the diet and appetite can then cause potentially some health problems. So it's around understanding. Most of my clients will say, so I'm not being lazy. I'm not just reaching for carbohydrates, because it's actually because I have executive functioning challenges and I need to find quicker fixes that are, going to help me and not sort of make the problem worse.
Sarah, do you know what percentage of the population have ADHD?
And the current estimate is about between 5 to 7%.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but the ADHD Foundation in the UK reckon it's a lot more. And there's been a 400% increase in requests for cases to be diagnosed since lockdown. So
okay, that's a media peg right there. Right. So there's been a 400% of increase in people trying to explore, like, do I have this, or is this condition, active in my family or my life? You are there to help people manage this with very practical nutrition tools that no one tells you. People are like medication or I don't know, whatever the other kind of things that they advise. But you're coming at it from a very holistic, very interesting, this will support your family perspective. This is how you help care for somebody. That is a peg, that statistic itself, right? What don't we know? What do we need to look out for? Sharing your own personal story, certainly. If someone you love has been diagnosed with ADHD, how do you help them in this way? Like, what are some things that, so what are the best places to begin, Sarah? Like,
Yeah.
you see, this could appear, but I'm thinking like the content that you already know and have, this could appear in places like Women's Health, like Parents, like the Daily Telegraph, with that large statistic, right? So the media, if you want to go pretty big, we want to work with pretty broad audiences, right? There's certainly going to be niches too, like a place like Psychology Today could be an incredible place for you, as well as Psych Central, Healthline, Greatest. I mean, there are so many potential outlets that can focus slightly more on health, more on food, more on parenting. Even specifically, maybe you could reach business audiences, because I wonder what percentage of people with ADHD are really active in the entrepreneurial world too. Like, how can they better support themselves? This could appear in Entrepreneur, in Inc., in Fast Company. It's so interesting how one area where you're a specialist can reach so many different types of people. It's almost like you want to test a few different outlets to see what really brings you the leads and what really kind of connects with audiences. But there is so much here, and it is so generous. I mean, Carrie, what a cool, like, I haven't actually seen this covered yet, like nutrition and ADHD.
It is really cool. And Susie, can I just say, I really like Sarah. Also, thank you so much for coming and asking that question, by the way. And I thought it was so powerful. And I really love, Susie, how you broke it down. And I hope that everyone listening in on it can like recognize like the process of beginning to like really kind of like break it down and like pull out those nuggets and look at the big picture of like what outlets would like be really keen to talk about that. But yeah, I love that angle. I feel like
I love your work, Sarah.
Yeah. It is amazing.
That is so cool. I could keep talking on and on about
that. Well, we have a couple of other questions that, from the other panelists. So these are a bit different, and I think that so Nicola asked a great question, and she I think is with us. Yeah, here's Nicola. So her question was, how do you immediately jumpstart visibility for a personal brand when you have already built a business brand? Do you want to give a super quick little overview?
Hi,
Nicole. Sorry, I called
morning.
Nicola.
I lost Carrie in my feed.
Sorry.
I'm guessing she asked me to give a super overview of my business that I have and what I'm going. Is that correct? So I have run a personal concierge agency for 11 years. We help busy executives, mostly females, free up their mental load by taking care of the things that they just don't have the bandwidth for. So that's everyday errands to scheduling travel to doing doctor's appointments. We just take care of the full list. Wow. So I've been doing that for 11 years, and now I'm going to launch my own personal brand that's more of bringing women together to share all of our wealth and wisdom and all of the things that I've learned from doing this, and how when we work together, how much better we are and how we're going to create a different legacy for the generation behind us.
Oh no.
I think we paused. That's okay. I think I've got enough here.
That's right. So how to not have such stigmas around delegation and setting boundaries and being okay with that and letting go of those things so that we can all be better personally and professionally. So with that, I'm trying to figure out how I jumpstart that visibility for my personal brand based on past business.
So you had a concierge service where you took care of tasks for busy people, right? So, and that includes, you said travel. Is it like enrolling them at school, their kids at school, like taking care of home management? That's really cool, by the way. So I would use that 11 years of experience with your concierge service to create incredible content, because Nicole, you are an expert. Right? Like, what are the biggest 5 struggles the everyday woman comes up against that she doesn't have to? Like, looking to delegate, where do you begin? Is there a checklist? Do you have a checklist? Do you have a script for a conversation if you need to ask someone for some support in your family? Or is there a way that you love to ask for help? Because if I think to myself, if I had 11 years experience teaching, I don't know, say hundreds or thousands of people, or helping them manage their lives more efficiently, what are we doing wrong? Like, tell us, Nicole, burnout is real. Everybody's exhausted. I would quote some stats. They're everywhere, very easy to find. We know that we live in this exhausted culture, right? So what do you know that could help us?
Yeah, I guess
Right.
I don't always think how to weave that right down to what you just said. I forget that we just do it all the time, and we're so natural at what we do that we forget that we are the experts in the industry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I would think, and probably this could come to mind really easily for you, like Nicole, what are we doing wrong? Like, are there 2 or 3 things that you find just over and over again? Like, even a headline could be in a place like Business Insider. I've helped X amount of, say, high achieving women streamline their lives. This is my 3-step method. Or you have your own formulas, I'm sure, in your business. But this is the first question I ask them. Or these are the 2 easy things we can do to get 10 hours back in our week. Like, you know what all those things are. And to you, it probably seems very obvious. So obvious that we do discount it. But that is amazing to someone who's like on the subway, who's like stressed out and they've got to like rush and then pick this up. And oh my gosh, the to-do list, like insomnia, like what do you tell them? Like, do you have is there a simple action plan that you recommend getting started with? Are there questions? Is there the media loves scripts too. So if you're like, hi, spouse, I would like help with this. Like, how would you phrase it? How do you even plan a week? Do you think, do you do all things at once, or are you anti batching work? Like, what have you learned? Like, truly, you've got this gold mine of experience that if we just almost like pick a few of the really kind of winning quick tips that you have, that can tap into large audiences, serve them, they will love you, and they will want to follow you. They will want to do more with you. Like, how could you make a busy woman's life, or man, whatever your audience is, a busy person's life easier today? What could they implement? Like, what could be a quick win for them? If you share something that's helpful or informative, that person will follow and love you, and they'll want to take the next step with you. But I mean, hundreds of ideas like here, but like for you, Nicole, do you see what you're sitting on? That stuff that it feels so like, and sometimes we think too, this has already all been said, or blah, 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 blah. No one's coming at it from the angle that you are, with the people that you've served and that specific experience you have over a decade. So, oh my gosh. Oh, I want to see your tips.
I know. Yeah. I think that's the thing is, again, like listening to you talking about that, Susie, it's like getting creative around like the content we can produce and what we can do and how to make it fun. And like, I think as well, like something that I find really helps me is looking at what articles I really enjoy to read online.
Exactly.
Looking at the stuff that I see being published. And you can really spot, I feel like you can spot the trends. And like, even though, like you said, for example, a checklist, a script, like there's such genius blooming ideas that Sarah wrote in the chat. I love Susie's enthusiasm so much.
The media loves a checklist. Like, can you give us something? Like, give us, you know how valuable that feels? Someone's like, I'm so happy. And when an audience loves something, your editor is thrilled. They're like, can we get more? Can we get more? What else have you got? What else have you got? And it continues to get more and more simple the more you do it.
I love this so much. I feel like, hope it's getting everyone thinking and getting ideas flowing around how everyone can just try and go out there and start getting media exposure, tapping into those audiences so that they can create that visibility, build their email list, get those eyeballs on them, create that authority in their industry or just create that authority just in general of, what they're here to share. Their absolute their genius. They can focus on sharing their genius.
Yes. You can even look to what social media posts that you've had, or any even new email newsletters if you send them, which have really connected. What already within your business, what content really engages your people. That is also a great source of inspiration for media stories, and I would also share that. I love to share with my editors. I posted this and it's got lots of engagement, or I sent this question to my audience and this is how they all responded. You probably want to know that data. Like, it's we have the goods, like regular people just running businesses. Like, we have so much that's really generous, not only for audiences, the media audiences, but media professionals who need story. Like, Carrie, one of my editors needs to put up 10 pieces a day.
Wow.
So if I can help her, if I can give her an idea or give her a question or debunk a myth or have a bold perspective on something, then that's being generous. Everyone's winning in that situation.
Yeah. I love that. Nicole, thank you for that question as well. Thank you for coming on. We had another one from Bahia. So she said, she had a question. She said, how can my business and message be visible without having to show too much of my personal life on social media? Bahia, I love this blooming question. Thank you so much for asking it, because I feel like there is this whole struggle around like having to share and expose so much of ourselves. Like, what is the balance with that? Sorry, but here I just asked you a question for you. But
no, I love the question.
feel free to share a little bit about yourself. But yeah.
Hi,
Sorry.
yeah, I'm so glad you're here. No worries at all. So yeah, basically I'm a psychologist. I do counseling for life and career. And I worked a lot in person. And right now my challenge is how to be more visible online, because I'm taking my practice mostly online. However, part of my training in psychology, first of all, is that you don't even promote your services. So that for me was a big change of just changing my beliefs around promoting myself. And then the second part is, I see people sharing everything from pictures of them giving birth to having breakfast to it's not who I am. And I'm wondering, how can I, and yet I know I like to enjoy those pictures of people because I can relate to them, but I know that wouldn't be in integrity with myself to share so much, so what's the balance?
Bahia, is that correct? Bahia, is that how I say it?
Yes, that's correct.
Bahia. It is such a great question. And the good news is it's entirely up to you, right? Sometimes, someone will post their bank statements, right? They'll post their weight loss before and after. We live in this age of oversharing, certainly. But I'm like you, right? I share what I feel comfortable with, but I'm largely private. A lot of, what goes on in my life and what's happened in my past, I probably will never share. But when it comes to, revealing, or feeling like you're revealing or feeling exposed, I know this comes up. You don't even have to speak about any particular event or personal experience. You can speak more broad as a psychologist. So what's a popular thing people come to you for? You said career?
Yes, and also use tools like human design and energy medicine.
Okay.
So those specific tools.
So, so I know my own human design, right? But that's not, I wouldn't say that's mainstream. Well, I mean, who knows, increasingly. But if you think about what is it that you can share about yourself that you feel comfortable with? Are you comfortable sharing your human design? Are you comfortable sharing an opinion you have about something? That's being personal, right? Are you against some traditional wisdom, or do you need to have these 7 things in place in order to succeed in your career because that's what some university professor told you once? I mean, even sharing your opinions is revealing a lot of yourself without talking about your marriage or your children or your illnesses that you've had in the past. You can just share what feels comfortable. And I love the fact you use the word integrity. It has to feel good and clean. And we don't need this full expose into your life, but you just sharing methods that work for you, things that you do or don't believe in, stuff that's even work for your clients or patients, like trends that you're seeing, what your predictions are, what it is that you care about. So if you think, I'm a psychologist and I help people in this area, what almost even inspired you to do that work? And again, you can talk about some difficult experience that you've had to, work your way through, navigate through your life. Or you can say, and I'm totally making this up because I know nothing about your history, right? But you can say, look, I was inspired to do this work because I saw that, there weren't role models in my family to give me inspiration in this area. And I wanted to be able to help people who maybe didn't feel so certain about their future. That's why I do this work. That's already very personal. Right. Yeah. I think that sometimes it's easy to observe all the sharing because people talk about so much, the frequency of their intimacy. They talk about everything. I certainly don't. But I'll talk about feeling afraid, like times where I felt afraid, or times where I doubted myself, things that maybe I do differently now, or even funny experiences that I've had there's this old saying, right, that what's personal is universal. So if you share even just a feeling, like feeling nervous, as I did this piece for Oprah about situational shyness. And I was like, are you really shy? This is like an interesting topic, but I was like, I noticed that I'm not shy with my friends, right, or with my family, but if it's someone I really look up to, I can be really awkward. But I just referenced a situation at a networking event when I was I hung back instead of introducing myself to someone who I wanted to meet. So that's not some big share, like some like expose, but it's a networking event that I went to when I kind of probably regret a little bit holding back. And I wanted to know why I was doing that. And then I created this piece around situational shyness. So I think that there are varying degrees. You definitely get different comfort the more you do it, but absolutely you hold your line. No one's requiring you to strip yourself down bare and reveal all things. It's just what feels good and right and just enough. We don't need a full story. We need just often a little insight into you as the creator of the content so that we can relate to you.
I love that. And I'm so grateful to hear that you asked that question, because I think so many of us struggle with it. I know I struggle with so much. I think it's like you saying, in this space where so many people do share so much, and it's odd because I think here you said this, like we enjoy watching other people. And then it makes us think, oh, maybe I should be sharing this. And you're like, oh, no, I definitely don't want to be sharing this. And I really struggle with this so much. But then I also come back to the people whose content I take action on and whose content I really like learn from. And often it's those people that are sharing the value around the topic of their expertise and sharing their opinion on that and sharing their tips on that and sharing their thoughts on that. And actually that's the content I'm always I know I'm very into social media, but that's the content I'm always bookmarking. I'm never bookmarking the other stuff really. So
it's a service driven, like it's the piece that's really of service to the reader, of service to the viewer. That's what we care about. And the personal stuff just allows us to kind of make a connection, but we can do that with a funny story, like an airport story, like whatever. There are stories everywhere, but yes, it doesn't require us doing stuff that we're uncomfortable with at all.
Yeah. I wanted to share with everyone that me and Susie are going to be getting together in a couple of weeks on the 25th of May, and we're going to be diving deeper into this. We're doing a masterclass. Susie's leading the masterclass on how you can actually make this happen, how you can, obviously we've been talking about it today, but it'll be, obviously this is a nice podcast conversation, but it will be structured differently on the masterclass. Actually, Susie, do you want to share a bit more on like what specifically you're going to be teaching on the masterclass?
Yes, I am so excited. It's in my calendar, May 25th, 11 a.m. my time, so Eastern. So yeah, the same time as today, which is fabulous. And I'm going to speak about how you become your own publicist, right? So if you look at ever hiring a publicity firm, they are minimum, at least in the US, like $10,000, $15,000 a month, minimum 6 months retainer with no guarantees. Look, and that's fine if there's a budget for that or a place for that. But even with a budget for that now, I always do this myself. You build your own warm connections. You realize how straightforward this process is, and you learn how to work with the media who frankly love hearing from the talent, meaning you, directly. Whatever expertise you have, I'm going to share with you how you can take what it is that you know, give it a microphone and package it up in a way so that the media can say yes to you. And often we have these kind of roadblocks or these beliefs around what's possible. And I think we're just going to totally debunk anything that feels limiting around this for you. If you think, I don't know if I'm ready, or maybe I'm too brand new, or I don't have any fancy qualifications, or I don't know anybody, I'm just getting started. That's okay, right? That's just where I was too. But on this masterclass, we're going to break down how you get noticed, how you stand out above the noise in your field, grow your email list, grow your customer list, of course, more and more sales for you by using a specific media method that I've crafted over time called guest posting, and why it's the most powerful method to get results in ways that probably don't even realize right now. Get a lot of the benefits that the media brings you that, honestly, like Carrie, I didn't even know. I didn't know that being the media would bring me book deals, would bring me paid speaking gigs, would bring me a brand deal, like influencer opportunities. I'm sharing what the media can do for you, why you want it now, and like how to make it real, right? Because it's always going to be based on action.
Yeah. Yep. I love that. And I'm so blooming excited for it. So if you want to join us for it, if you go to fea.link/Susie, SUSIE, that's fea.link/Susie. We'll leave it in the chat for you. We'll put it in the show notes as well. Then come sign up. It's completely free. We're going to hang out. We're going to go deeper into it. We're going to have so much fun. And which I'm so excited about because like, you've explained right from the beginning of this session, like guest posting and utilizing other platforms creates so much credibility, authority, exposure. And I mean, it's just mind blowing that you built your email list to 29,000 people in such a short period of time from doing this.
I mean, I remember one piece in particular, Carrie, overnight I had over 700 email subscribers. Like,
wow.
think about, and look, I love all the things. I love social media. I love Facebook ads. I love all the ways to grow your business. But I think, wow, not only do I get all those leads and people being funneled into different, like a really nice offer that I have, but I mean, I also get my name out there more and more and more, my photo out there more and more and more. And you just become easier to hire, like easier to buy from. Like you said, you know, when you Google you, like what's coming up, everyone's going to come up with their website and social tags. That's great. But what if you're coming up in some really credible media outlets? In fact, even my Facebook contact, because we love to run ads too, he said, the reason our ads convert so well is people often, right, see an ad, do a bit of research, and then that trust is built so quickly by seeing all the media wins that you've like that a person has. You're like, oh, they're legit. I can follow this person. I can trust this person. So it just makes your life easier. And I think that we deserve that as entrepreneurs because look, we have tech stuff, we have team stuff, like it's life. Why not allow like something to be just a big blessing in your business in ways that maybe you don't even understand yet, all the opportunities that can flow to you when you're visible.
Yes. I want to hear from everyone in the chat who here is joining us for the masterclass and who here is going to commit to actually going out there and getting featured on another outlet. Who is going to do it? Let me know because I want to know.
Yes.
As we wrap up as well, I wanted to, Linda said, looking forward to the masterclass. Me, hopefully. Yes, me joining, most definitely. Woo, I'm so excited for it. Susie, as we wrap up, what are your like top tips when it comes to this for people who are watching now, who are thinking, they're interested, they're excited, they're maybe apprehensive, they're thinking, but is this really possible for me? Like, what are your top tips? Like 3 top tips or even just 1?
Yeah, here are 3 things you can start thinking about right now, like especially if you're going to be joining us live in a couple of weeks. We can't wait. But these are 3 things you can start thinking about to get your creativity going and to really put maybe media on your radar when maybe it hasn't been until today. So I would start thinking, who are your audience? Right. So would you really lean into, is it a business audience? Is it parents? Is it people who really care about, I don't know, vegan recipes, for example? I'll start thinking, who are my audience and like, where might they be? If you are clear on who they are, where might they be spending their time? Like online, what are they consuming? What are they reading? What are they engaging with? What are the media brands that they follow? It's great to just start getting curious about that now. And then part 2. So it's almost like, who's going to care? Who's going to care about what it is that you have to share, right? And caring is like the currency, right? Because it's attention. The second piece is, what is it that you have to say? You probably have, like I said, hundreds of potential ideas, but just to kick off, like, what do you most care about right now? What is it that you most want people to know that can be helpful, informative, entertaining even? Like, what is it that you've got to share that can be of use, of value, of help to other people and lots of other people? Remember, because the media brings you a lot of attention. And then, and this is sometimes really tricky for people to do, so it could even be really cool in this fun community, but think about like, why are you the person to be sharing this? Because this is why I love to lean into personal angles, because when you think about it, right, there are lots of life coaches, right? There are lots of people who specialize in fill in the blank, whatever your business is. There's always going to be other people who do similar things. But why you? Is there an experience that you've had or a journey that you've been on or a realization, or maybe you've lived in lots of different places, or you had a really interesting conversation with someone and that inspired something within you? You don't have to have this very deep story, right? It's just parts of your life, your observations, even what you were eavesdropping on in a Starbucks, like that made you think of something. Like, what is it? I did a piece about guilt around that. I heard two women talking about feeling guilty about what they were eating and how they were comparing how they were both terrible. And I created a piece on guilt based on just my lens with which I viewed that conversation. So think about, what is it about you? Like, how do you see the world? What, and it can be great to ask people who know you this, because sometimes it's hard for us to even realize what's special about us, but why are you? So think, who's going to care about your message and where may they be online? What might you like to say? And then why are you the person to say it? And don't be shy, right? We need what it is that you've got. So showing up and sharing your message in the media is so generous. So lean into, like, why you? What? And don't overthink it. Allow it to be a simple, obvious. Sometimes the most obvious first answer is the correct one for you to get going. So those three things, having those in the mix, you can start tuning into the huge outlets, the huge potential of your story ideas, and why you can frankly just lean in to yourself being an authority in your area based on whatever's coming up for you as you ideate those three things.
I love that. Thank you so much. Susie, where is the best place for everyone to go and connect with you?
Oh, I would recommend if you head to my site, susie-moore.com, there are lots of free, cool confidence resources there, and then a link to my podcast, etc. But yeah, that's where I'd kick off. But I hope to also see everybody in a couple of weeks, live with you, Carrie.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So fun. Susie, thank you so much for coming and chatting. You've been amazing. I've loved having you here. Everyone give Susie some love in the chat. Susie, I don't even think you can see this chat, but there's people.
I can't, but I'm vibing pure love right now. So
I hope you've all enjoyed being here and listening, and I really hope it's got you thinking about the possibilities. It's so exciting to think about, and I cannot wait for that masterclass to go even deeper into this and to just help you all to actually do it, to actually take that leap and to really start getting that exposure that is yours for the taking. So Susie, you're amazing. Thank you. I cannot wait for the masterclass. It's going to be so much fun. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. This also, for everyone to know, this episode will be going up on the She Means Business Show podcast. So if you want to rewatch it, take any more notes, and you'll be able to check it out over on there next week. But yes, thank you so much everyone for joining. Thank you, Susie, and I will see you all soon. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.